Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this kind of evening stream. Let's see how long stream we are gonna have. Maybe shortly a little bit of what I've been working on lately. I've been trying to make this trying to figure out a way to have to use this kind of like a text avoidance thing, because there's this thing that when there's overlap with some, or if there would be overlap between some of these labels because the lines are kind of like on the same spot or almost on the same spot, there's this thing let's see here, there's this geom_text REPL thing that you can use to kind of like fight that, so that they'll remain like approximately in the same position as they are as the lines are. So the text will be or the points are, so the text will be at the same position, but it avoids them overlapping the text, the different texts. So it kind of like puts them in a little bit different position. So, but it's still clear to read. But yeah, I've been working like how to, because I also want to have here like some kind of indicator on whether this indicator, whether any any specific indicator has gone up or down as a result of some change here in the inputs. So it would be nice to have like some kind of plus or minus sign or arrow or something like that there to indicate how the change has been. But yeah, but there's few problems here. Like other one is this command that this REPL command, like I've tried to figure out if I can do like use this seed, because there's this randomization that kind of affects. So if I would then figure out if I use the same seed and somehow like so that I could have like multiple of these instances where they have they would stay in the same position. Like I think here, yeah, this kind of like example, I have just this letter O here and trying to get it the same position as I have let's see in here, and also like this one here, it's the same position as this one, and they're not gonna, it's not really working out. Like here you can see that the average carbon cost label is kind of, it's different from the where this actual numeric value is, and it would be nice to have here also have these labels start here at certain point after. I think this is a little bit difficult to explain now, but yeah, there's this, I don't know if I can get this. Another thing that's like I haven't figured out how to get like for this comparison, like to know if the indicator values have gone up or down. I think I would need to have the system store the previous datasets, like the datasets as they were in the before the input change was made. So I've been trying to find out like how would you do that, but I don't think I have not figured out. Like it shouldn't be too difficult, and I think this is something that's used a lot, but I haven't figured out a way to do this yet. I've been trying to see if I have here On flash, yeah, this kind of like on flash function. So this should basically tell to Shiny to do that, like once there is this process of what they call like invalidation, so that kind of like there's new data being formed. So before that begins, it takes kind of like it would take into memory this this data set that they previously had, but I'm not like familiar enough yet with this on flash function to get this to work, and I'm not. Yeah, let's see if that's like manageable, if we can get that to work. Yeah, I also played around a little bit this like with this pretty like subtle effect, but to have like these areas between these below these lines, so it makes it a little more colorful and maybe better to understand also, like for example where the zero kind of like the x-axis is, so that kind of like the color ends it, so it knows that it's kind of like filling out this area. I think this maybe shows it a little bit better when there's less variables, but that's a bit but when it goes also doing here a little bit. I'm still like this multi-graph thing, I'm still working on it, and I think like I have like some technical options there or some like strategies there on how to do this, but I think I'm a little bit still figuring out how I want to do it before I commit to something. Right now I'm thinking about this like instead of having like basically like now I have like 4 graphs here, or 5 if you also get the population and stuff like that, but I'm thinking about having only 1 graph that is gonna like form out of 4 graphs. So before these graphs are produced, they are combined in the ggplot side. So ggplot only produces 1 graph in the end, and kind of like it's this kind of combination of several graphs. But that's just like one option, and I'm still thinking that there's some downsides there, but there could be some positives there as well. But yeah, I'm don't really know yet like how to like what's the best option here. So I'm gonna like put that on hold for now, for like figuring out a little bit. Yeah, I was thinking that today it could be maybe good to add some info buttons, and I was thinking to start like there's also of course like this, like these are gonna be some info buttons at some point, but still kind of like figuring yeah, that's also like part of the figuring out if I want to do this multi-graph thing or not, because this is affected by that, so that whether we have like where should we place the info window that's gonna pop up from this and so on. So that's yeah, I'm not, and should I have like here, I think like maybe the easiest option like technically would be to produce an info window here below this, between this graph and this indicator visibility box, so that it would pop up here, and then it would maybe it will tell what's happening, like what are like relevant indicators compared to the indicator that is being kind of like whose info is researched. So so it would maybe highlight the at least the specific thing, but maybe also and it would be nice to have some arrows going around like that this kind of like affects this and so on, and maybe, but it's very hard for me to figure out like where should I place these arrows, and like if it's possible to, because I think I would need to maybe draw the kind of arrows that that are somehow rounded or something, so I'm not sure how easy that process is. Yeah. What else? Yeah, and it would also be nice, like when you have like, especially with these, that when you have these info windows, it would show like, for example, like if you have the observed year here, it would show the, maybe it would be good if kind of like it told in the here, like if we had here like the info window that is like text based, if it would tell here, for example, where the user carbon costs are derived from, because they are the product of user emissions and the carbon tax. So in the text it would have like embedded like this specific carbon tax value and this specific user emissions. So it would make it more clear for the user that like this is okay, this is how the user carbon cost is defined, and this is kind of like what is how these other variables contribute to that. And I don't know, maybe like it would be nice to have like also in a wider sense this kind of like what are the kind of like predecessors for each indicator and what are the successors for each indicator, like how are these where does this stuff come from and what does it affect, and what is it affected by, like this, because it is like a little bit complex like specific, like deeper we go, like for example these like user net costs and stuff like that's a product of like at least, well, like, in the essence it's a product of like 5 different indicators, I think, or something like that, so at least 4, so that's kind of like something to focus on. So but I was thinking about starting to have these info buttons maybe here in the left hand side in these model parameter things, that they could be for thinking like here below could be like some info button, and I'm thinking like the info button could be, well, it could actually, I'm thinking like before I was thinking that it would open here in the bottom but now I'm also like kind of like liking the idea that it would open up here between these things, but there's also like empty space here in the top left, and but also like most of these selection windows, they have some empty space that could be used here, so we could add like the text here. It's gonna like depends also on how long the texts are gonna be, and I'm not quite sure about that. Like this one here, this would fit like, it would be nice if the, you know, it would stretch only to like this level, so you wouldn't have to scroll down because of that. So something like that would but there's also like some of these are so kind of like tall, like this already goes below the graph line, so it's I'm not sure, like, but this could be, this is actually the one also that I'm thinking that this could be cut into two pieces. Like first could be this budget choice, and the second one would be these all of the rest here, but I'm not sure about that either. Like it's these are pretty like conjoined, or kind of like these are, it's kind of like logical that these stuff, they come together. So I'm not sure if I want to make the splits, although like it's a little bit heavy, especially like because this is like the, as the design is now, like this is the like the first window that's open to you, and there's so much stuff here, and it might be a little bit overwhelming for the user. So yeah, I'm not sure. So that would kind of like be in favor of making like different portions of this. So I would cut from here, and this would be like kind of like section 2, and this would be then 3, and this would be 4. And I'm a little bit annoyed that now it's not so easy to travel between these sections at first, because there's this that like it brings up more like variables here, or it kind of like makes it a little bit slower maybe. But yeah, let's start at least here with the carbon budget. So let's see where we go. So we're pretty high up here. Okay, it's here. So after this one, this is the end of the whole this panel section, but here we would add an accordion item. And I think I have I have the accordion here. I think I just want to copy like how it's done. Okay, I think it's up there actually. Yeah, it's like this. So this is how you do the accordion. So we're gonna have the different name for the accordion now, and then I think I might just name everything info, and it starts up collapse, and I'm gonna just, for now I'm gonna put some let's see if this works. Can I do it like this? So if we have so would this produce anything sensible? Let's see. Oops, something's wrong. I think I need one more parenthesis here. Okay, so now we get this info here, and if we click it, we get this text that we added, and then we can shut it. So I think this could be nice that it would be here on the bottom, and then it would stretch this so that you get more. So the other option, as I was saying, would be that it would pop up maybe here somewhere, and there would always be like maximum of one info thing. But this would be nice in the sense that if we have these info windows open, like the explain, like these are basically for explaining what these various indicators are. So if they would open up here, it would be nice that you could have several different info things showing up at once, like in theory at least. So maybe it would be nice to have it here. And maybe this is also like if we keep this like section here between these, if we would keep it for these indicators, it would kind of like maybe tie them better for this graph or something. I'm not sure. So we're gonna write something here, and I'm also gonna like maybe a little bit interesting to see how this handles like various line changes and whatever. So I was thinking that there could be some kind of a combining like a document or web page for the finished product. So, but it would be nice to have also like some very specific info in the app itself. So, but the document would be more of like a deeper thing, or that you could like learn more. But this kind of like that we would have here, it would be just like we would try to keep it as few sentences or something. So maybe here carbon budgets are derived from IPCC, a report, blah blah. So whatever. So that could be. Maybe here we would need to explain. Like it could be that X is reduced from its carbon budget because the so yeah, this is a little bit tricky thing that's gonna come like that, because these are budget for since the start of 2020, and now like I think like 2024 is the earliest and that's also like already like super theoretical, like it's the earliest start year for this carbon taxation system. Like we cannot so we're gonna like losing 4 years worth of emissions from these budgets already, and I'm gonna like figuring out that system (2024) assume that well, we know like I don't know. Yeah, maybe like the basic thing first about carbon budget. indicate how much carbon can be emitted before reaching a given temperature. How much carbon can be emitted. To stay under a certain temperature target with a certain probability. So yeah, I'm also thinking like, what if when like maybe here's another thing that kind of favors putting this stuff here between the graph and this box here. And that's kind of like the thing that like we could see. I think it kind of like would work better to only have one info box like possibly open at any time, because if we want to use the graph for these ones as well, like I would maybe want to have here shown up like somehow here the number, what's the budget. So like somehow highlight all of this area here. From or maybe like off the 2020 budget. XGT is left at start here because of 2021 2020 2021 and 2022 2023 emissions, and maybe something like that. So this would be like 41 gigatons and this would be like 40 gigatons and like 39. Okay, let's have it like 40. respectively. Something like that. So these values, they would all come, maybe this is just like x. All of the x's, they would come from the system. So at one point I was also thinking that it would be nice to have the text inside the graph, but I think that might be a bit too complex. So I think this could be the, maybe this is the only sensible option in the end. And here like maybe net emissions. How much? Maybe net. How much? Like it's like a CO2 net emissions can be emitted. Maybe like can still be. You kind of like want to make sure that this is a negative thing somehow. Like want to indicate that clearly. So okay, what's the next? Yeah, well, yeah, I'm still thinking like whether should I just indicate how much it can still be. I mean, like I think these are still just like early sketches of these texts, because I kind of want to scope out how much space they're gonna take and so on, and maybe figure out like does this affect like these choices regarding how are the segments are going to be. So is this first just going to be the budget thing, and the rest are going to be in their separate sections. So I'm making here another one. So this would be now about maybe the rest of the stuff here. Start year defines when the system it could also be, yeah, I'm thinking like could it be that there would be like an info button next to all of these, like that there would be for this one and for this one and for the shape also. So could there be, and here like select start year carbon price, could there be like info button here, and here carbon neutral year carbon price, would there be info button here somewhere that you can press? And here, okay, this doesn't work for some reason. I wonder what's wrong here. Yeah, and here also start year. Is this, would it be too much text also to have for, it's also like this section here, like this one here, this is like, this takes like a lot of text to explain out, so I don't know, maybe it would be best to have maybe it would be best to have a separate info button for that as well. But then I wonder how, like, it's like how hard is it to kind of like embed those info buttons here? Like, how did I, like, okay, here I have like the start year emissions, blah blah blah. Could I have well, it's kind of like a fluid routing. Or could I have something like that if you click this name, then it kind of like tells you what that's about. No, I think I could do this one with just like one text maybe. Maybe I could do this one as well. Maybe if I just split this one to like different pieces. No, maybe kind of like one natural name here would be, I don't know, like if I make the split here, you could call them like total emissions under budget or something. You could just call it total emissions maybe. And also like thinking that maybe it could be a good idea to not show those average emissions before you reach this button here. So I'm thinking like custom here, it would be like this at first, so I think this would already make it a lot easier to read, but it's also after here when we go, like it's gonna bring 2 more scales at the same time, or actually it's gonna bring 3 more scales at the same time, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna end this here. I'm gonna read about a little bit about like check out if there's a way to put some clickable items somehow like inside here, but I'm not really hopeful about that. There's like other ways to do it, but I think they might make this a lot more messy. Also, I think I should I think I would like to get this, like this number would be on this line here. I don't like that it's kind of like goes on and here the same thing, that this would I'm gonna actually Google how do you say it? Inline inputs. Okay, but I'm gonna end this stream now. It's gonna be a lot of like Googling stuff after all, so yeah, maybe it's not the best time for streaming now.